Hello and welcome to our mini This or That with Kobe and Dash.
A tiny tot.
Some Evil Geniuses versus FlyQuest specialty.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Higher ceiling, Svenskeren or Santorin? Let me remind you, Svenskeren won the MVP at his ceiling.
Yeah, and that's where I was leaning, but I was wondering to myself, am I leaning that way simply because he's a playmaker? Right, like he's that idea of a
playmakers would have higher ceilings, in my opinion.
I guess that's true. Well, but yeah. Okay, there it is. He is. Yes, he is. He's got the higher skill ceiling. I think Santorin's the better jungler, but I think Sven has the higher ceiling.
Yeah. All right. I think we are in accordance then with slide number one. Because Santorin has been a really good for FlyQuest, especially during their 5-0 run that they've gone. More YOLO player. Is it Huni? Is it WildTurtle? If we're doing current state of the game, it has been Huni. Did you see Huni with his attempted, Camille flanks and stuff? Boom, he got popped immediately. There are a lot of points where Huni's the one dying, whereas WildTurtle recently, very consistent, just firing Ashe arrows, sniping people, playing a lot safer, has not died nearly as much.
I think it's 100% Huni, and I would say almost always. We have this image of a super aggressive WildTurtle, and yes, he is one of the more aggressive of all the AD carries, but I also think he appears more aggressive because he's an AD carry. So anytime an AD carry flashes forward, we're like, oh my god, it's such a big deal. When Huni flashes forward, that's just another day in the life of Huni. That's just what Huni does. So it's 100% Huni, the more yellow player.
All right, me too. Next slide. Are we going to agree on all three? Can we get the trifecta? Playoff series, stress reliever, Nexus splits or ARAM?
I know what Zeyzal would choose.
Yeah, so I was really hot on Nexus splits because it's it's something new. But then it really does start to get to you if you play it a while, and the rewards are just so different. The cart thing is really fun, where you're driving around on your stupid little cart and trying to run into people. But if the other team just gets the Elder Dragon thing, is executing people, it feels pretty annoying.
Yeah, I think the ceiling, to go back to another slide, of Nexus splits is higher. There are some games that are a ton of fun. If you get the right champs and the right mini games, I'm having a blast. But I think on average, ARAM, right, is better because I know what to expect. I'm gonna get to just practice pure champion fighting, in 5v5 scenarios in a singular lane. So I think when it comes to a stress reliever, I'm gonna go ARAM, because you just run it down the mid lane. Just run it down the mid lane over and over again.
It's a really important point that you bring up, like the actual question of being a stress reliever, because there's a reason why people always favor consistency in things like that. People will watch the same TV shows over and over just because they know what to expect. It won't, give them anything that's going to cause them more stress. Whereas Nexus splits, being new, is inherently worse of a stress reliever. Gonna create more anxiety there with all the unexpected.
Go with what you know, baby. Go with what you know, and inting it down the mid lane. We're all good at that. So.
Scientific analysis on this this or that slide for number 3. We really got into that one. Let's get into the playoffs. We're gonna send you right back to the desk for some more analysis.
Playoffs, baby.
Well, thank you very much, Kobe, and that handsome Devil Dash. Welcome back to LCS Countdown. We're gearing up for Evil Geniuses versus FlyQuest, the next series to hit your screens. Outside of the obvious stakes weighing on any playoff match, FlyQuest and Evil Geniuses have more on the line than a title and world qualifications. FlyQuest has announced an update to their split-long Sea Quest, now called Deep Sea Quest. Each kill is now $2. Each Ocean Drake, $20. Each victory is now $200. If FlyQuest wins a series, they'll donate $1,000. And finally, if they win the whole thing, the championship, $10K for the Deep Sea Quest. Now, Evil Geniuses, they didn't want to miss out on all this fun, so they're also upping the ante. If you didn't already know, Evil Geniuses have been holding a fish-eating contest, which they're doubling down on as well. For each kill on FlyQuest, they will donate $15 to the WWF. And for every Ocean Drake, Ocean Soul, Baron, or Victory, their wildlife adoptions will up to 2 adoptions per objective. So no matter who comes out on top in the game, good or evil, charity wins. And therefore everyone wins. All right, gents, let's talk EG versus FlyQuest. In just a year of facing off against one another, FlyQuest and Evil Geniuses have developed a budding rivalry, and I'm excited to see them face off again, given how their last playoff match went.
Yeah, you got to remember, in spring playoffs, FlyQuest was still experimenting between Viper and Solo, and they eventually settled on Solo, but not before they lost to EG in the upper bracket. They made a run through losers bracket with Solo, remet just in the semifinals, took them out, and made their first finals appearance with Solo. Now in summer, FlyQuest has kept getting the better of them. They are 2-0 in the regular season. They look a lot better coming into this actual playoff match. And though the head-to-head between them is still actually relatively close, it does feel like all the momentum is with FlyQuest right now.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, it's a bit of a evolution that these teams have gone through. Like, FlyQuest was such a slow team back then, and that was partially why we were underrating them. But since they came into summer, before their little slump, they were actually really aggressive. Their kills per minute were almost double what they had in spring. And again, they had the little slump, and now they're kind of coming back into form.
There's that pretty close head-to-head you were talking about.
Pretty
Mark.
close as in equal.
Yeah, some might say 6-6 is pretty close.
2-2 and 1-1. All right, but to be fair, it's a different EG lineup.
Yes.
Now there's been a lot of changes. Goldenglue has come in because before it was PoE versus Jizuke, the mad scientist versus kind of also a mad scientist with PoE's builds, but at least playstyle-wise pretty consistent. Now Goldenglue is expected to be the consistent one for his team, and I think he's done that job pretty well, but the rest of the team is still very, very inconsistent around him.
I think the fear here for me, probably, is that in some ways Goldenglue feels like a PowerOfEvil just on a slightly lesser scale.
Yeah, I mean, PowerOfEvil, again, is mostly control mages. I would say Goldenglue has fit into that. His probably best game this split was the Azir against GGS a couple weeks ago. But really, the whole teams are very different. EG, again, when they were able to have success in spring, it was off of Jizuke. And then in the playoffs of spring, it was off the back of Bang. But now in summer, yeah, Jizuke's gone, Goldenglue's back, and Bang's kind of been absent, so it really has been, Goldenglue's last Azir performance was the biggest standout performance on EG recently, so I'm kind of curious, who's going to be the carrier of this team?
Yeah, it is a big question, and one of the places you would look for Evil Geniuses is rather in the jungle position. You heard Kobe and I kind of talking about the different skill ceilings of the players. Santorin way more consistent, but Sven has put up MVP splits in the past.
And to be fair, it's quietly better than I think even myself had realized, but he is always the kind of player who's looking for aggressive plays. He's still really good in the early game. It's just that we're talking about these inconsistencies, and Sven is someone who will not change his play style if the team is playing bad. He will be the first into the breach every single time, and will probably die for it. And so when a team is struggling, he tends to look a lot worse than he really is, and I think that's kind of what's going on with EG here. He's still really good, but the rest of the team needs to step up with him to follow up on his plays a little bit better.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead, probably.
I'm going to say I'm not on this or that or anything like that, but when you guys are talking about ceiling, for example, I don't know, I'd say mechanical ceiling, yeah, I'd give it to Svenskeren, but the way Santorin's been improving, I kind of give him the play style ceiling because he's been just wrecking it with the level 2 ganks, just being able to play all these champions really successfully, like the Trundle and even more aggressive champions. I think he kind of gets it right now.
All right, probably coming to a this or that near you soon. Let's talk about other players who might need to step up alongside it. Probably you talked about Bang. We've seen some highlight performances from him in the past, but he's also been somewhat under the radar for the majority of Summer Split as of yet.
Yeah, so Bang and Zeyzal, they weren't a really lane dominant like we saw FBI and Huni yesterday, but they have been teamfight dominant, where they're going to be picking these scaling picks. They're going to really be able to perform evenly in the bot lane, and then in team fights, they're going to be the ones to carry their team where, Svenskeren is maybe setting up the fight and Goldenglue's helping. It's usually going to be Bang and Zeyzal making the biggest plays to win them the game.
Flip side, Mark, WildTurtle coming back in to save the split.
Yeah, they are 8-2 with Turtle, and those 2 losses are only to C9. He has been incredible, and I think would have potentially pushed on the All-Pro lineup if he had the full split underneath him. He had those 10 games, so not quite, but he is dominating in a number of categories in North America. The only things that hurt him are his laning stats, but that's because he's playing with IgNar, the highest roaming jungler in the league. So he's often sitting back and holding out before he can finally find his moments to go in and make big plays.
What was that, probably?
Oh,
was that just...
he said he said that IgNar was the highest roaming jungler, and I was like, you mean support?
Support. He may as well
be a jungler.
Yeah, he's basically, FlyQuest second tier jungler.
Hard to make all pro as an AD carry when your support is playing jungle. All right, well, lots of matchups to keep track of in our battle of good versus evil. Our second series of the summer playoffs is about to begin, so with that, we're going to send it over to our casters. Game 1 of FlyQuest versus Evil Geniuses. Enjoy.
When playoffs start, every player that's there understands that everything is on the line. I've been through it before. I witnessed firsthand that anything is possible. So I'm going to step it up another notch.
Yeah, I think we can agree that the sheep can need of a leader. Made a number one was just a feature for Rita.
They'll underestimate us quite a bit, and we're going to come out swinging.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
This playoff is the most important playoff of my career so far. Our ceiling is just really high.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if that 100 views shows up, teams are definitely going to feel it.
I don't buy what you selling, I sell it too. Keep it 100, that's starting in every group. I'm very cool, I'm cool with very mood. Filling the sky, my type, Nelope cool.
The PowerOfEvil is still alive. Santorin with an absolutely massive ultimate.
Riding limos, my family and I'm a Britto. I'm a psycho and a sicko. I turn your wife to a widow. From time when I was little, they riding my little riddle. Never used to have iPad, I had Brillo. Numero uno, I act they don't have a clue though.
I was brought to Team Liquid in order for the team to continue the success, and now this is where it really counts.
God is a fortress, class is enormous. I don't have to beg no father for the door is. I spoke to God and it didn't eat for me. I spoke to Pusher, but finished into a team.
Yerkson with the snap gun. Look at that damage he was able to dish out.
Having Bjergsen on your team is just not fair. When me and Bjergsen are on the same team, everyone expects us to win.
Bjergsen looking aggressively here for Niski.
I've been pushing, yes, I've been cooking. Road trips, them risks, they've been tooking.
Obviously, everyone wants to be one of the greats, right? These players, like Doublelift, Bjergsen, I want to show that I'm the best jungler to ever play in NA. These are things that I'm not going to prove by talking. It's something I'm going to prove by winning.
Been ballin', they've been looking. Our first clash of flights, I've been booking.
I'm really good. I think my team's really fucking good.
The flash kick in the wall.
So I'm 100% confident we can win it again.
We let the guns blow. All you see is bright lights through the gun smoke. Rockin' with them, rockin' with them, rockin' with them, mother with them, rockin' with them, rockin' with them, rockin' with them, mother with them, rockin' with them, rockin' with them, rockin' with them, mother with them, rockin' with them, rockin' with them, rockin' with them, mother with them. I push it.
Hello and welcome to LCS Summer Playoffs. I am so excited to be here with my best friend, Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler.
Hell yeah. I'm excited to be here with one of my friends, Freak.
Absolutely the case.
Honestly, that trailer, so hyped for playoffs. I'm super excited right now because I actually thought that the previous playoff set was going to be the closest of these ones coming into it. Now I'm looking at EG and FlyQuest here, hoping that this one is going to be closer than the previous.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm excited to see what comes out of this game. FlyQuest in the 3rd seed, EG in the 6th. I gotta say, much like Mark Z, I also voted Santorin best jungler in the LCS this split. This man is absolutely incredible. We saw some of the Reddit comments as well. People saying Solo got robbed, deserved top 3. I think top lane, honestly, top 4 or 5 is really stacked, so it's hard to say, but really good players all around here.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it's definitely easy this year, as Mark was alluding to say that someone got robbed in every single position. Let's get into Champ Select, though, because it's really important for this matchup specifically. Obviously, everybody always focuses on Huni as a very Champ Select reliant player, as he has had some very bad games off of his main champions, Rumble, Gangplank, but also for FlyQuest, they bring some interesting things. Since IgNar has this really high tendency towards Rakan, they are one of the teams that more aggressively uses the Zeyzal in a world where the AD carry pool has been whittled down more. Not going to be the case here because Caitlyn is left up. And Caitlyn, obviously, #1 pick right now with the extra range. And ever since she got her attack damage and health boost, she's just such an oppressive lane. They all
speed, real strong.
you always want to push and poke, basically.
Yes.
Push your lane, poke them under tower, whittle away at those tower plates.
And Kobe, I think this is very interesting. So 10-16, of course, is a new patch. It started this round of playoffs, and right now, among sort of top regions, like regions that have gotten out of groups at major events, only the LPL and the LCS have played yet. No games in Korea, no games in Europe. So there's a very, very small sample of what other teams think is good. Oftentimes, LCS is later to a patch. Like we can watch Europe play a whole week, for example. And so these teams are coming in to this champ select kind of blind, not knowing what other teams think is good. They got to watch Golden Guardians 3 yesterday, and only the LCS, by the way, is Morgana valuable. The LPLs play 2 best-of-5s, no picks, no bans. Only North America seems to care about this champion. Meanwhile, Karma, mostly ignored in the Golden Guardian CSM series, but like 100% over in China, for example. So I find that very interesting. Of course, Morgana got buffed. It raises her stakes. Karma got nerfed. I don't think she's any good anymore, but clearly FlyQuest thinks she's incredible and bans her right away.
That was one of the things coming into the week that also made it more difficult filling out an entire bracket, because the pro teams themselves stay on a later patch for much longer, and it takes longer for them to update to 10-16. Definitely a lot of credit to Demonte previous series, picking up Zig so quickly with those buffs. Maybe we'll see something new here. So far, nothing new. Volibear is actually one of the ones that got nerfed pretty hard. I really have been lamenting the move speed nerf that Volibear got. I kind of dropped him from my personal roster, but it is still a flex pick for solo. I expect it to be in the hands of Santorin, though. He's done great things so far this split with the champion. A lot of early game presence you can get in there, even without the speed. Still very valuable with your single target stun and the burst damage that you can put out early.
So that's interesting, because my read on Volibear is that he's only a jungler now, that he's been nerfed hard enough that I think there's just enough other better top laners that the flex pick isn't valuable enough, that he's just a weak top laner end of the day. But of course, that just is up to what Solo decides and what the FlyQuest coaching staff decides. And of course, EG right now just throwing top lane bans in. If we see a Trundle ban, by the way, it means they also believe that the Volibear is a flex pick, right? And that, remains to be seen, of course, here as well. But FlyQuest, of course, throwing their bans off at Huni. Graves, arguably the now king of the jungle with the nerfs 2 set, and Volibear coming through as well. Going to throw a ban at PowerOfEvil for the Corki instead, and that means Syndra is left up, though weaker, as a counterpick to Pee-wee's Orianna.
Yeah, last time that these teams played, Evil Geniuses threw 4 bans at PowerOfEvil, and then he still picked Corki, and they trashed him. So this time, they actually forego all the other 4 bans, and they're just banning the Corki in the second round here versus Santorin, possibly then setting up for another Azir pick or something like that for Goldenglue. He has plenty of options. I personally still really like his Zoe, also a very good blind pick mid there. But honestly, the top 3 blind picks, Orianna, Azir, Zoe, these things are all available for him. So it's just up to what style of game they want to play.
Well, look at the style that they want to play, and it might be around top lane split push. Keep in mind, Jax got buffed, Fiora got buffed, and Camille's still great, even though Huni didn't have the best Camille game the last time they played this composition. We've got the Galio into the mid lane, and Goldenglue is here to help someone dive in and start things out. So FlyQuest, lock in your lineup. Who's facing against Galio from Goldenglue? Looks like it's going to be the Orianna. And then who's going blind top when Huni is probably playing a fighter?
Definitely likely. It's going to be a different... Ooh. Whoa, the Swain comes out here for FlyQuest. These are after the changes, too, where they actually reduced his move speed, but made a few changes to the damage for Swain.
Yeah, his Q damage is much higher. The cone angle is shorter or narrower, so you're going to get more multi-hits, so more damage overall. It passes through champions, so you can multi-hit champions in a team fight. The cooldown's lower, so you get more Q damage. And, of course, the W range is something absurd like 4,000. You can walk like to the brush next to your lane, and you'll be in range of something team fight. And there we go, Svenskeren! Hecarim, I think, actually it's for Huni, Hecarim is the best champion in League of Legends right now. In my opinion, he is the best champion in League of Legends, and the first team to play him is Evil Geniuses. Hecarim in the top lane is OP, Hecarim in the jungle is OP. Huni, I think, can take over this game on Hecarim with the Galio over the top.
And specifically, Freak, it's not just, blind pick Hecarim here, but Hecarim into Shen, because Hecarim best keystone is either Conqueror or Phase Rush. Phase Rush mostly more for the jungle, but I'm expecting Huni to go Conqueror. You can stack up the helicopter Qs on Shen, just keep on spinning on him with your Conqueror stacking up, and you don't have to worry as much about the Spirit's Refuge, the auto attack blocking W for Shen. And Hecarim can utilize the move speed really well to dodge taunts. It's a big part of Shen trying to get trades on you. If you dodge the taunt, if you dodge the taunt, that means he probably can't get his Q pass through, which takes so much of the damage out of Shen's trading.
Yeah, at the very least, Shen can try to block Devastating Charge, which is a decent chunk of the burst damage there in the Hecarim as well. But yeah, Q is just, you're spinning it around, and that's not getting blocked by Dodge Zone. Very, very strong champion now. Excited to the Hecarim. People do run Ignite up in the top lane because you can just use your ult or your E to get away from ganks. Don't have to run Flash or even Ghost. You can just run more damage and kill champions off. Shen's going to build armor natively. He's going to build some durability there, like the health with Titanic Hydra and Sunfire Cape, like he can kind of withstand, but this is going to feel very Hecarim favored. I like this. It allows Huni to play very, very heavily into the side lane, but if he comes down, it's hard engage. It's not, you know, the squishy Camille who like hopes she can sit in the ult long enough to kill someone off. Hecarim's going to get in there. He's going to get a bunch of durability. The big tank stat for Hecarim is his W, the heal zone. If someone takes damage around him, he heals for like 30% of the damage dealt, which means he will drain tank off your team coming in after you. Very, very good champion. Going to look like a lot of fun in this game.
And with two of the core items, Trinity Force and Death Dance, when you get your Death Dance in, you are one of those juggernaut lifesteal tanking types of champions. In addition to the W, makes him very sustain oriented. So Grievous Wounds are pretty important versus champion, especially later on once the Death Dance is completed.
Absolutely. Then sort of down the line, because I've actually played probably 10 games of Hecarim so far since the buffs. He falls off a little
like 30.
bit. Sorry? You played how many?
Like 30.
Oh, okay, so you got me beat there. I've played a bunch of bot cards as well. It feels like his late game falls off a little bit, that you kind of spike on your first two, and then as you start ranking W, like the rank incentive isn't very good, and so the like ultra late game, you're not 6-item Camille, you know, when you're 6-item Hecarim, like that kind of falls off a bit, but your first 20 minutes, it's got to feel amazing.
Yeah, and he's definitely a classic Trinity Force spiking champion. We have a little bit of delay with the game. That's why we're waiting right now. But honestly, I'm really curious too, because Hecarim, one of the other things is you have super long range where you can stop Shen's Stand United. Not only do you have your move speed boost with your E, which was buffed at the top end, but also super long range with your ultimate. And your ultimate provides an extended fear now. The longer that you travel with it, that actually got buffed at the maximum range. So you can go interrupt the Shen Stand United. And then, unlike a lot of other champions that might die, you know, under tower, the Shen turns around and taunts them. Hecarim can get out while the Shen is still feared from his own ultimate. So it's not as dangerous going for deep interrupts.
Well, going to be a lot of fun. The game's about ready to begin, and Champion Select is complete, so it's time to jump into our next playoff series as FlyQuest once again faces off against Evil Geniuses. Hello and welcome back to the series, Game 1 of a best of 5 between FlyQuest and Evil Geniuses. These teams are 2 best of 5s away from Worlds. If you win here today and you win next weekend against Team Liquid or Cloud9, that is a spot at the 2020 World Championship. The redemption arc for North America starts now. FlyQuest, the heavy favorites here against EG. Most predictions I have seen have been 3-0 in their favor. However, I have faith in the Hecarim. I have faith in Goldenglue and the rest of Evil Geniuses. This is going to be an exciting game.
And I know, Freak, you just have this infatuation with Hecarim, and you love this champion. I definitely like it as well, especially now in solo queue. But I think the other interesting side of it is on FlyQuest's side, this Swain. This is kind of a ridiculous pick that has not been seen since the rework, and even before the rework, or before this mini rework or whatever you want to call it, it was extremely rare. So I'm super excited to see what PowerOfEvil can do with this champion. The main thing that I know about playing with it was actually when I was doing with my boy Big Terry. Former Optic in bottom lane. He was talking about support, and he was just like, okay, main thing is when he comes to try and use a Q on you to snare you, actually walk forward into it. Yes, you will take the damage, but since the snare only snares the last thing hit, if you play in the minions and walk up into the minions, then it just snares the minions, and you can get off a better trade. As Galio, you can probably use that moving up, get your Q, AoE on the minions as well.
Yep, that'll be something to watch for here. Solo, of course, running with Grasp here in the lane. Every time it's up, you can kind of try to walk into Huni and get some health back, but overall going to lose most of these trades. We'll say Hecarim can run out of mana. He's a fairly mana-hungry champion, but obviously can, through runes and itemization, get through some of that one. W healing capped against minions and monsters, but it's still a good, I think, like 90 health at rank 1, so good sustain there regardless. And Huni shows in the wave, gets 8 of the 12 CS, and we'll see how well Solo can last hit under turret. I did some looking at solo queue win rates. Swain is the 3rd worst matchup in all of League of Legends for mid lane Galio based on win rate. The other ones would be Nocturne and Set. And hey, Set was banned, so there you go.
And I just looked up Season 10. It looks like only Mickey and Whippo for LEC in spring were the 2 Swain plays. So none in summer thus far, and PowerOfEvil will be the first to receive a gank.
And it's already in the mid lane. Goodbye, Goldenglue. It does not matter what you try. First blood is in 3 minutes. Swain is off to the races.
He's got the flash in there, Freak. Doesn't matter, Q, move speed, nerfs, as long as you flash right on top of his head. Goldenglue down.
Speaking of down, Huni is running out of resources here. Has a biscuit if he needs it. Can finish this shove, but looks like we're seeing a pretty early TP back to lane in a second as he trades his health bar out for a minion push. And here's the gank.
Yeah, we get the POV from Santorin's side, comes in right through the brush. PowerOfEvil sets it up. There's no chance for Goldenglue to flash anything. What I was talking about earlier with the Q snaring the last thing that it hits, Goldenglue tried to run away from it. The tip of it hit for PowerOfEvil. He pulls him right back in before Goldenglue can get out of there. Flash in from Santorin. That is great, CC layering from this mid-jungle duo. And they've really worked well together to get FlyQuest to where they are today.
A little bit of right place, right time for Santorin. Sees Goldenglue and Svenskeren running up to his side of the jungle and says, don't you dare try to dive solo. They won't. They're going to back off to their lanes, but at least they could have fought for a bit of jungle control, nothing else. Taking a look now at the bottom lane. Bang and Zeyzal up against WildTurtle and IgNar. I will say I favor Caitlyn in this lane a fair bit. So far, Bang has lasted pretty well. Santorin and Svenskeren back into fights as well. PoE checks the brush to see if Sven is around there. Indeed, he is. Gromp not pulling back just yet, so Sven may well steal that camp. And now, nice bit of damage here. The trap was on. Zeyzal takes basically every single skill shot, and I like that lane turn forward for an extra auto attack. Really heavy trade, and Zeyzal gonna have to chug through the last of his potions.
Yep, they've been just dumping on Zeyzal here, taking out his sustain. Now you get to supplement that Caitlyn playstyle that we kind of talked about, push in the lane, continue to poke them under, and since Zeyzal is so low, they should be able to force Bang to miss some of the CS now. Thus far, he's done just fine grabbing them. It is going to get more difficult though. Santorin also over on this side of the map to kind of give Svenskeren a little back for the counter jungling, and IgNar with the pushing lane on bottom for FlyQuest makes sure he's safe to do so.
Well, IgNar going to help make sure, yes, indeed, Santorin gets the Gromp back, as Svenskeren stole his just a few minutes ago. And
he's going to Wolves with him, too.
What's up?
He's got a little bodyguard. He's going to Wolves with him, too. IgNar's like, don't worry, Santorin. They took your jungle. I got your back, my friend.
Look, this is what Mark already talked about. Mark talked about this in the pregame analyst segment, saying that IgNar is basically a second jungler on FlyQuest. You can see it here. He's literally just inside the jungle helping take camps down. He's as much Santorin support as he is WildTurtles, which is fair. It works out for him. First recalls come through, no problem. BF sort of the one side. Zerk Greaves as you tend to build an Ashe on the other. And teleport Ashe is really only going to get maybe 3 CS extra out of that teleport cooldown. You'd love to have something better, but you know, when you don't have lane control, you can't really dictate the recall timing, and so not going to be anything too special.
And back on this Swain, I just want to keep checking in since it is the first since the big changes to the champion with the early tier buy here for PowerOfEvil. I kind of like the idea of going for the Seraph since Swain wants to be in the middle, and you get this big power spike on transforming Seraph with the huge shield allowing him you know, to be in the center of the action. If you have that plus the security of a Shen, this PowerOfEvil Swain could be an extremely fearsome frontline that will create a big zoning area for the Caitlyn to have a lot of safety to fire from. Meanwhile, though, EG can use this window, push up. They're starting the dragon. Even with the control ward here, I don't know if Santorin can get there in time. Dark Passage will, though.
Going for the play. Smite Fight coming in a second. Who's going to grab it right there? Nicely picked up by Svenskeren, and now Galio over the top. Big team fight already. Turtle safe in the back line, and suddenly Goldenglue is running out of health. PoE 2-0 in the matchup already, and they are on the chase. Huni is around, but he's not going to get much done. Zeyzal going to burn his flash. PoE flashes in to follow. Ulti explosion won't quite kill. It's getting close. Shield comes in, slowed down yet again. That's going to be 3 on the board for PowerOfEvil. Swain is ready to take this territory for Noxus.
That looks pretty good about funding your Seraphs as well. He could get a super early transformation. All 3 kills. WildTurtle, though, he's going to run into another member of EG.
Danger for the Caitlyn, jumps backwards, trying to stay alive. Gets the shot off, and Sven is on the chase. Turtle does have flash, and he can't burn it in time. Turtle gets his first death of the game.
Yeah, it doesn't save you unless you get just to the wall, and he was a few pixels away from the edge. That's one of those moments where, you know, he's walking back the lane, and you have to give a record scratch, pause, a freeze frame. Yes, this is WildTurtle. You are probably wondering how I got here in between 2 EG members. Unable to get out, but there's Huni!
There you go, the best top laner in League of Legends. Hecarim, piloted by Huni. Just incredible stuff. Takes down Solo. I will say, the dodge zone, it blocked the E. It wasn't enough. Huni just chased him down. Well played.
Yeah, because you stack up Conquerors so easy with this champion. That's why it's the most insane keystone. Here's another look at the attempted Stand United steal. Santorin jumped in with the Shen on his back. They don't get the steal, but after the Galio lands, they get all of the kills. Solo is able to lock up with the last taunt. PowerOfEvil in the middle of everyone where he wants to be on Swain. Also stacking up his own Conqueror, able to get the chase down here. Santorin landed the W for the extra slow there with Volibear just to make sure as well. And we're back out to another objective. Rift Herald here going to have another 5-on-5. Huni is on the way.
Ooh, Ashe barely missed, but they're chasing down another Santorin. Forced to flash away now himself as well. PoE waiting around. Damage on Zeyzal gets his health up a little bit higher. Ultimately, no big fight. And PoE has not recalled yet, has not bought since that double kill he picked up. So though there is a gold lead for FlyQuest, there is not an item lead for the team. Ultimately, doesn't really matter too much. Evil Geniuses, again, they get the Herald picked up. They can slam that when they need it to get some extra money on the board. Plate's not taken in any lane just yet.
Yeah, honestly, I like the reset and focus here from Evil Geniuses. Trying to get an objective after the lost fight there, since FlyQuest stayed out on the map so long. Now, PowerOfEvil obviously trying to save up as much as he can so he can get close to his completion. But Cinder Hulk at least comes in. Jungle items should be starting completed right now, post level 6, and opening up for that play.
So Kiwi waiting for Ambient Gold for his next upgrade, has the Haunting Guise, and goes Blasting Wand, which can go a couple of different ways. Primarily it's going to be Leandri's Torment being done, and then he'll upgrade to Archangels when it's time for the Seraphs to be in there. Regardless, obviously very good damage item. You do want some level of health onto Swain. Another champion I enjoy playing a fair bit, and you end up getting pretty reasonably tanky on that one. Nice try on the last hits. Looks like the recall going to come through for IgNar. And it's going to be WildTurtle waiting around for a bit to finish the rest of these. Huni, not very far ahead in CS. Obviously, that solo kill is nice, and want to point out this game is close. The early game for FlyQuest generally has been a fair bit better than EG. EG's best laning member was Kumo, who, of course, has been benched for Huni. And so far, I mean, in this game at least, Huni's been doing pretty well, but EG otherwise have not had the best of early games in the LCS. This time around, playing it pretty closely, and we'll see if the mid game can go as well also.
And Huni is a big kind of gatekeeper for the early game for EG in this game. You know, he needs to have an oppressive lane versus solo to keep the Shen from countering their moves on the other side of the map. That's his main job right now, is push in this Shen, continually try and whittle him down, stack up your Conqueror, threaten those possible dives, threaten those kills, so that you can use your Graves invading Galio combo after Ashe ultimate, pick somebody off, and you can, on the side of EG, try and force things before PowerOfEvil and WildTurtle really scale up.
I'll wait for that one to happen. Quick note about WildTurtle, by the way. This entire split, he has never had more than 2 deaths in a game. Across all 10 he's played, he is capped at 2. He's halfway there right now, but he is on the slightly winning team. And Caitlyn,
that's the goal.
So it may sit at, again, just won the entire rest of this game. But worth pointing out that, this is a man that had been, nicely played. Santorin gets in the melee range, makes sure that he can't go anywhere, and he's going to ult out to safety. That's going to be Goldenglue staying alive. Herald has been summoned as well, so Solo is going to, just take some turret damage here as 2 more plates drop down, but knocks in the Herald and nothing else to do.
Are they going to be able to chase down Goldenglue here? Is he making the long run? Because that was some, very temporary safety that he found. Execute.
It should be, unless Santorin wants to. Yeah, he's not even reached the smite. This is execute.
No flash.
XP. Though.
All right.
At least it's XP.
The safety of the fountain finally acquired for Goldenglue. Experience is picked up for Santorin, but definitely spent a long time chasing him through there.
Also got to point something out that I missed earlier on. Goldenglue is running Predator in the mid lane. I don't know if you called that and I missed it, but he is rushed Boots 2. He is going for the high move speed version. Of course, Predator. Ooh, this is a nice bit of damage. Hook as well. This is good night. This is lights out. This is a kill. Santorin over the wall to guarantee it. Onto the board for him, knocking down Svenskeren.
PowerOfEvil with the snipe over the wall to start it out, making this Swain look good. Freak, this is crazy. Swain could go from not picked anywhere in the entire world in summer to being banned in a playoff series versus FlyQuest after game number 1.
Yeah, good job, PoE. The man is known to pull his own builds out. We saw the Lich Bane Orianna with some defense to it. And now saying, no. Like, Swain makes sense here. Again, love it in the matchup. It is absolutely incredible versus Galio. If your team needs magic damage, which they do, it is the literal best pick in League of Legends, at least according to solo queue stats. Really, really like this one. Obviously, we can see top lane turret is 1 hit from dead. Huni just needs to auto that a single time with minions nearby, and he will claim first turret top lane. His Hecarim so far doing pretty well, and it feels like EG are going to need the help because everywhere else on the map, they are bleeding gold.
Yeah, they've been just gutted here around these dragon fights. So next one coming up, 4.5 minutes with the Mountain Dragon. Huni already taking down top side. That pressure on the Shen lane is still their hope. EG, they're in a decent position. Even though, FlyQuest seem to have so much success setting up PowerOfEvil, and he is going to be a monster, they still have the map pressure in their favor. Huni taking down that tower, now is free to move. His teleport is ready, and EG forcing on the bottom side, also threatening the Galio ultimate. This is how you want to, keep that pressure up and apply the globals.
This is really, really nice. So EG down in the bottom lane. This is the first time I shouldn't say the first time, I've seen Caitlyn lane lose as well, but this is actually very, very good by Bang and Zeyzal. Early laning was rough. They have come down to grab 3 turret plates by the time plates have dropped. They have a CS lead by +9 on Bang right now. Very well done to this duo. And right now a gold lead for EG as well, thanks to the solo turret. Gold hook's going to be dodged, nicely played by Zeyzal. Turtle goes in for some damage, can't get it all though, and out they go. But EG have turned in a gold lead, winning in top and bot right now. So it feels a little bit like PoE and Santorin versus the world, but to a fairly small scale.
And honestly, that should be one of the main things that EG are working to play around. If you're faced with this problem of an extremely fed Swain, goals are to fight on the other side of the map, away from Swain. Again, PowerOfEvil does not have teleport. Swain, his move speed was nerfed. He cannot roam very quickly. The problem is once he gets there, he's a massive DPS tank, and he also has a stopwatch on him. So EG should try and force something with an Ashe arrow. You have some extra mobility with the Tahm Kench ultimate, even though it's very short range at level 1, and make use of your Galio roaming better than Swain, because the stand-up 5-on-5 is going to look a little bit rough. And in that vein, FlyQuest want to play off their strengths. They force on the Riptail number 2. Wisely, EG don't take the fight and try and play sides.
Alrighty, there we go. Herald can be chopped down pretty easily. Santorin's going to grab this one. We'll see when FlyQuest get their first turret. But meanwhile, because the squad went mostly topside, EG get alone time down the bot lanes. He's looking ult over when needed. but instead they will grab their second turret. So FlyQuest may have kills, but EG have the turrets, and they have the farm, as Goldenglue is once again pushed away from the mid lane, having obviously a pretty rough time down there. Dodges the root, knocks down the wave. Nicely done there. EG on a 1,000 gold lead, waiting for a Herald to summon for FlyQuest to close that a little bit.
I think they might want to wait until they actually get, you know, a Shen play or a teamfight victory or something to pop that Herald and really gain some purchase on one of these towers. If they just open it up in one of the lanes, they don't actually have a lot of the extra pushing power to do it. WildTurtle off of this reset, though, getting another wave into bottom side, and you see Goldenglue already heading down towards the bottom where EG have opened up the map, taking off those two side turrets. So you just switch your Ashe into the mid lane to hold those waves. Safety of Tahm Kench lets you gain effectiveness from your split push and really allow Huni more alone time with solo.
Yeah, looking to keep that matchup moving well. You can see the Death's Dance is being begun here for Huni as the Warhammer and the No Magic Mantle as Titanic is done. Solo heavily pushing towards actually dueling power, right? Titanic Rush, not just the Sunfire and wait. You want to be able to fight back. Has managed to farm pretty well as a result. And now around to the mid lane goes FlyQuest. Mountain Drake, which is Drake number 2, spawns in 50 seconds. Bang gets away from the Vision of Empire and will knock down this wave without much problem. But PoE and Turtle are sharing a lane right now. No one is farming bot. They are staying to knock down mid turret. Santorin summons. See if the squad makes one happen. Santorin waiting around. Here comes Shelly. Here comes the charge. Should need a little bit more damage to kill it off. It's low. They need an auto attack, and Turtle does not feel safe to do so, which, to be fair, he has a Lantern available to him. It would have only taken 1 or 2 auto attacks. That maybe could have been done, but plays risk averse as the Drake is spawning in 20 seconds.
Yeah, honestly, I think I get a little scared getting that close to a turret, too, with the Ashe arrow available. Obviously, it's really early in the game. There's no QSS. There's no Michaelis or anything to get him out. But the Lantern, if well positioned from IgNar, in a quick click, could definitely move him to the side in time and try and get away from that. Dragon will be set up, though. They didn't quite take down the mid turret, but gain enough pressure here to set up first. Caitlyn traps go a long way. Turtle trying to close off both of the routes into the Drake contest.
And we're seeing no one really trying right now. Huni, yes, he has teleport. He's not running down to the side of the map. They are letting FlyQuest get Drake number 2 solo. I like this. Puts on the dodge zone. Says, I will take the minion wave. 0 auto attacks on the turret. Nicely done. Knew he was going to be safe for that one. Titanic active gets the turret down. That's going to be some nice safety there. Top is being pushed in, but they will not lose almost any farm. Solo is almost... he's going to be there like just in time regardless. But hold that thought. EG nearly get the catch. Goldenglue nearly found that taunt. That could have maybe been a kill on a solo, so it will be top lane crashing. Some decent damage from Huni. Going to ult back into this fight as they're going to look for this kill. A stopwatch is not going to buy much time. IgNar is going to die, and Turtle under the turret trying to stay alive. Gets the Shen ulti. They're going to get banged. He goes too far in. The recompense is there. And Zeyzal now going to be sniped. He will just barely live. And it's going to be a flash to get away from Santorin, who still wants in. Auto 1, Auto 2, Auto 3. Turret goes down to the mid lane.
Holy moly! Bang just went turbo in mid lane there with Stand United available. Solo does save him. Another fight here, though. Solo having a hard time getting back to the safety of his tower.
They were going for this dive. He is 1 versus 2. Huni going to take some damage. They knock the turret down first. The dodge zone is up, but it's not going to mean anything. He's going to try to get away. The ultimate's going to charge in. A Lantern to keep him safe. Just barely living. Tanks Ignite, tanks an ultimate. Nearly a kill over there regardless. You can see 3 turrets to 2 overall scoreline as bot finally goes down as well.
I would think. So my mind is thinking about the mid lane dive there. Maybe Bang did that because he was expecting Zeyzal to flash in after him to devour him away from the tower aggro after they get the kill, and they just didn't take into account the Stand United. Meanwhile, PowerOfEvil is getting chased down.
Predator Galio very, very fast. Stopwatch is available. PoE has his ulti on, tries to flash away, but he can't do it. He's going to burn the stopwatch. It might give him the chance at Goldenglue. Nice shot by Zeyzal, help guarantee it. Spits him out after the man dies. Well played there. Huni burns the TP to show up, and it gets him the kill.
All right, so big pick here on the side for EG. Teleport back to mid for Bang to be able to catch the wave in time as well. And the double safety of the Zhonya's plus the Devour, able to outlast the PowerOfEvil stopwatch as well. Meanwhile, though, Huni pushed an extra wave and might pay one back. Has ultimate.
Nice ult. All right. Yeah, he had to ult that one. The hook was going to be too dangerous, so out he goes. But look at this. Evil Genius is 1,300 gold ahead right now. They're playing the map nicely.
All right, here's another look. Are we going to focus on the mid lane dive here? I think that should be the play. Slow-mo is seeing the Thresh engage on the top side, which we definitely saw. Here's Zeyzal and Bang, though, on the right side. That's what I'm looking at. Bang wanted to finish him off. With Santorin flashing for the stun from out of vision of Bang, plus the Stand United coming in. Those are two kind of unexpected factors that caused him to do that. But the idea would have been, oh, Bang flashes forward, he finishes off those auto attacks onto Turtle, and then you have the Tahm Kench to devour you. But the damage is not as bursty as you would really need to pull off that surprise play without the at least Stand United coming in my opinion.
Woo. Good sidestep. Pretty close one right there. Nice attempt, though. It was a narrow margin that kept WildTurtle alive. There wasn't a lot of safety left. Shen ult was still down. That would have been a kill, so nice try. End of the day, Fast Fingers keeps him alive. Yeah, I think that dive would have been good if Volibear weren't, like, right there next to him because, yeah, it was close. Yeah. End of the day, though, we look at this game again, and it's still only 1,000 gold apart. EG still playing very close. Minute 45 on Drake, of which FlyQuest have 2.
Whew, it is a hot one, Freak. I'm excited with this being the first game of this series coming out this close. Both teams do have options for the sides. Goldenglue's teleport is up in addition to the ultimate for Galio. And again, PowerOfEvil is playing the side lanes, even though no teleport and base move speed of 325 on Swain. Definitely down there in the super low tiers as far as the pushing. So I think FlyQuest still would much rather have the opportunity to set up on the objectives first, and will gain so much more priority. And that being the case, makes me think that they actually don't have a super high value on the Mountain Drake, because PowerOfEvil is still top, 1 minute left. Generally, you're going to want to get your control wards in place before the 30 seconds that lead up to the fight. Huni is going for the 1v1 on solo, just a quick little trade though.
And as he done, blocks Triforce and the charge damage with a timely W. That's going to be him safe right there. Mid lane push down, back and forth, and it's just playing over wave control. A couple of Caitlyn traps down, not being jumped on.
Yeah, PoE did make the recall. He's on the way now. 30 seconds left for them to try and get vision set up for this third dragon. Mountain number 2 it would be for FlyQuest. See if they can get inside. Goldenglue and EG, they should just be buying time, because they're the ones with the advantage now on top side. Teleport plus Galio ultimate both available for him. He is going to have to get a little bit closer if he wants that instant impact, but control wards already have been placed for EG, and Svenskeren's even kind of waiting in the brush. A little bit dangerous, but looks like they do have a 2-person surprise opportunity, maybe Turtle.
Damage on the Santorin. He's one of the tankiest members on the team, though. Gets Lantern back out as well, so no problems there. And once again, looking over this side as Solo is playing top lane, waiting to ulti back in when the fight is needed. EG have their squad around. Looking to knock down the mid lane first is FlyQuest. The Drake being set up by Svenskeren. Huni still waiting around on the wings. Hook's not going to land. Poke over the walls as well, looking for a bit more damage. Not going to find it just yet from PoE side. No root or hook in either. Now it's Galio off to the side, but he can, of course, ult back in as well. Here comes Shen over the top. This is going to be the engage. Here's the attempt. Ults in towards Svenskeren, pushes them out of the pit, and it's going to be claimed there. Drake number 3 for FlyQuest. Lantern for some safety. Galio's still on the wrong side of this fight, but be careful. They are still being hemmed in. Huni does have ulti if they want it, but still no play. Box used for some disengage, and FlyQuest going to keep running away. Now the dunk in towards Solo, but he is the tankiest player on that squad, and there is no problem at all. A great Drake steal, 3-0, no kills on either side.
And you see the hesitation on EG's side. When PowerOfEvil pops the Swain ultimate, they give him a wide berth, just waiting for the Swain ultimate to time out before they can go for the re-engage. But it's enough time for FlyQuest to power through. They take the dragon, that's number 3. They're set up for Soul now, and to walk the entire team out. Yes, he's slow moving, but it's a slow moving fortress that is very, very dangerous to engage on. And this is saying something, because EG have the Hecarim Galio dive combo that you would think would make Turtle's life extremely dangerous. But the thing is, if Turtle is within range of PowerOfEvil, he kind of provides that offensive support there and makes them think twice about going for the carry.
Yeah, I mean, you dive Turtle and PoE pops ult, Solo pops ult, and IgNar just McHales plus Lantern, and it's like, well, if you didn't one-shot Turtle through Shen ulti, Turtle's fine. And hey, you're on top of Swain? Great, that's where he wants to be. Let's go, let's do this. The mana Zonia's now He has Leandry's in. Like, this is kind of the first great spike for Swain where, you know, he's got some decent souls. He's got the ulti available, and he can turn invincible during it. So feels pretty good. Lane not quite going to land, and there's the Ashe not going to land. That was a pullback as well, but he's going to flash in for the taunt. It's a lot of damage. Mikhail's in a flash, though. Gets rid of safety. Huni wants in, does have ulti. There's going to be the charge in. There's a lot of damage. Galio over the top. They're going to get the kill. Turtle with death number 2. There is just not enough ways out. They just keep finding more ways to dive him, and finally it works out for EG.
Yeah, that you can tell. That was in their mind the entire dragon fight, too. They're looking at Turtle, so juicy. They finally get him down with the flash down as well. Now EG get their chance at a power play. Swain pushing topside, too.
All right, here comes the taunt under the turret yet again. Wanting to get solo. His dodge zone is down. He's going to flash over the wall, stay alive. This turret, though, going to take a lot of damage. Going to drop as well. Huni wants in a 1 versus 3. Takes Ignite, walks back away. No problem for him. And that is EG finding their 4th turret of the game. Tied now in kills, up 1 turret, up 1,500 gold, but bleeding some Drakes.
Yeah, and I think they are going to have to reset for some Baron vision because, again, with FlyQuest having this, grouped up strength there, trying to play around PowerOfEvil, with the control wards sticking on Baron, it continually kind of nags them over into that way and is this pulling fear that they have to worry about. When Caitlyn gets to set up traps leading up into the Baron, all the defensive measures that you mentioned become kind of twofold more difficult to execute because while Hecarim and Galio can dive, the rest of the team will have a problem navigating through those Caitlyn traps, through these small corridors leading over to the Baron. Hawkshot always gives you that extra safety. It makes you feel way better about your vision game and a little bit less pressured in the Baron instances, but it is another cooldown you have to work around.
Well, right now, the chance towards Mountain Soul is up in 100 seconds, and based on this comp, Mountain Soul is probably the best thing for FlyQuest. Anti-burst to keep the backline alive against diving.
And frontline Swain.
Sure, yeah, I mean, obviously the stat multiplication is really nice for the sort of 3 tanks they've got, right? I mean 4 if you count Swain, which is actually realistic. Yeah, it's a really, really good soul for them, so see if they can make that one happen. EG, of course, wanting to fight that one back. If they can stack the next 3, they'll get the soul instead. It's going to be dangerous, though.
Yeah, EG feeling pretty good about the state of the game, though. Marginal gold lead for themselves, even though they have to worry about the soul in 1 minute. I think that they should be able to position first to try and take this team fight, and Turtle's flash is still down. So that's one of the big components in the survivability of this FlyQuest team. As much as we're talking up the Swain, if there's no Caitlyn damage there, then it is basically 3 CC tanks and just the Swain burn that EG would have to worry about. So Turtle's positioning is going to be huge.
Well, nice attempt there. Hook's going to kind of buy some time. Out they go. Drake back now in 35 seconds. More Swain W. Gets some more health. Thanks, Zeyzal. Nice little heal for him. And we've got another attempt there. Santorin's the front line. Deadman's played on, waiting for his play. Off to the side is Goldenglue's Galio. He's been pretty good for the engagement as well. They have found those kills time and again. And now, as the mid lane is fought over, poke keeps going. Santorin down to only 1,400 is not great. Finds some slow, finds some poke, wants it on Svenskeren, gets a lantern for some shielding. That's going to be a lot of damage. The flash for him, and he's going to have to flash backwards to get away from the skill shots. But Santorin's getting dangerously low. Arrow's going to land almost, but still goes to the uprights. Now on the front line is PoE. Pops the ult, needs the Zonias. Gets it just in time, and they've already knocked down Huni. PoE still staying alive, getting another bit of health back. Galio over the top, looking for a knockdown of Santorin. And now the re-engage towards Goldenglue. Also back in towards Svenskeren. Can't find that stun, but 2 autos will kill him. Solo slowed down. Goldenglue this time will go down. Great hook by IgNar. And now over the wall they go. EG cannot fight this anymore. Zeyzal gonna get hooked right back in. A single auto will kill him. PoE, can he find the skill shot? And all the same time, the Drake is being attacked. That's gonna be Zeyzal going down. Svenskeren's gonna drop as well. It's a 4-for-0. Make it all 5. The Bud Light Ace for FlyQuest. And the Mountain Drake gonna go their way as well.
And the Baron Freak, that team fight means everything. FlyQuest, make it count here. Santorin goes in for the engage. Huni actually late ulted out on the Hecarim, kind of caught and chunked down on the backside of that Dragon Pit. Huge team fight for FlyQuest. Turtle remains safe the entire time, and they burn them down. Mountain Soul plus Baron buff, baby. That's going to be some hard push. Teleport in for a super necessary steal here.
Well, they don't have Spellbook, they don't have Smite, but they can try for the hard engage to find some damage output. Easiest Smite of the life for Santorin, and now this is a 2 versus 5. Goodbye, Goldenglue. Your KDA is going to look a lot worse after this one. You do not have a way out. PoE's going to grab his 5th kill. And EG, they brought in Bang. They found a stun, but Turtle gets the Mikhails. He's going to stay safe. And again, are you really trying to 4v5 this right now? EG going to find Zeyzal slow. The man's going to flash over the wall. And Huni is trying to steal a blue buff, but you're never going to get it in time. He's on the wrong side of the map. He'll run to safety, should stay alive. End of the day, it's EG bleeding a couple more kills. Down a solid amount of gold. Yeah, he's running. He's fine. They're out. But this lead has now grown massive for FlyQuest.
Yeah, the plays after the fact here were desperation plays from EG. Yeah. They know, they're like, oh my goodness, we're facing the Soul. It's going to be Baron as well for them. They're just trying to pull some crazy desperate play to pull it back. Santorin, though, with the Dead Man's extra speed and the flash, able to get the stun on Svenskeren. But again, we were watching WildTurtle this whole time because he doesn't have flash. He kites back there, and PowerOfEvil is zoning 4 members of EG on this Swain. He pops his Zonias, he heals back up within that duration, and also the rest of the team is able to kill Huni, the lone threat from EG that had been flanking on the other side. So PowerOfEvil there with the Zonias stays true, zones off the 4 members of EG on the other side. They win the team fight, chasing them down, and they gain all the rewards here, Freak. Game number 1 of the series. Does have some pretty big implications for Champion Select. Been pretty hyped up on this Swain, and it really has proven to be such a valuable tool for EG, or excuse me, for PoE.
Yeah, it's been a really difficult one to deal with on the EG side, of course. This game feels like a lot of mid and jungle difference. Very well done by PoE and Santorin. They got first blood at level 2. They have kind of kept the pressure going really well for them. Good job there.
Teleport.
Yep, another arrow, and every single one gets sidestepped here. I don't think it's like bad aim by Bang, but they're always getting away. Turtle gets the shield. Here comes the dive in for Huni. Can't get the fear, though. Galio on the top might not mean much either, only a single stun. And EG are running out of health bars. Goldenglue is death number 3. Zeyzal makes death number 4. Huni can run back to the base and lick some wounds and try to kill some minions, but evil geniuses do not have defenses left. Solo gonna get a lot of damage here. A stopwatch buys a second of time, but it's just not gonna matter. Game over indeed. Another ace coming through. FlyQuest gonna close out game 1 over evil geniuses.
FlyQuest, again, another super strong win for them. These are the types of games that got them that 3rd seed in the regular season, proving another huge victory here over EG.
Picking up where they left off, FlyQuest took down EG in the very end of the Spring Split playoffs. They took down EG both times in the regular season on both rosters, and at this point now, FlyQuest have taken down EG in game 1 of the best of 5. Now,
and
EG,
they're now on a 7-game win streak, Freak. Where is it going to stop? If we're counting off of the regular split as well, FlyQuest are on fire.
They are. This is good stuff right now. So FlyQuest gonna feel pretty comfortable. Of course, side selection will switch over to EG's side. This is the rule set for the 2020 LCS. Is the loser of the game gets side selection in the preceding one or the following one. So that's going to be what we're going to be looking at there. Is do they switch things up? Do they keep red side for counter pick? Do the picks and bans move around? Swain, Galio obviously looked very, very good. Was the Volibear a big part of that? Was it just the matchup? Of course, a lot of things will change around, and this is the exciting part of playoffs at a new patch. Is new champions available, new champions that people think are good, and preparations all that matters. So it's time for us to step away. When we return, the State Farm Analyst Desk will break down that FlyQuest Game 1 win.
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning. Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back to the LCS. Game 1 is in the books, and it goes to FlyQuest in the battle of good versus evil, but perhaps didn't come as easy as some would have expected after those first few kills came so easily to PowerOfEvil. Huni making some statements in the top lane himself. Let's work our way through it, though, because champion select, quite interesting when we compare this series to yesterday's series. For example, the Hecarim up in the top lane.
Yeah, 10-16, coming up with some interesting drafts for us. Both team comps, I think, make some sense, but I do think FlyQuest gets the better of it. EG kind of have this dive comp where Ashe is going to hopefully start things off with an arrow. Hecarim finds a flank. You know, you have the Galio coming in on top. And that all works pretty well together. The problem is it's into this other comp by FlyQuest, which is all about kind of absorbing that with the Shen ult, the Swain kind of being able to sit in the middle of all this AoE. And it was really interesting to see those two comps come out with two very different styles.
Yeah, I mean, I think both comps are built very well, right? Swain with a whole bunch of CC, and then Caitlyn with a whole bunch of big tanks. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then on EG's side, they have the Galio with the Hecarim. I think this fits EG's style, like their potential style, where Huni is the carry very well, where they have this kind of safe bot lane. They're banning out all these, IgNar picks, and then they're relying on Huni to carry. I think it's a pretty decent strategy. It definitely did not work this game, though.
Yeah, it didn't work this game, but in some senses, not because of what happened in the top lane. Again, it was mentioned that Huni was able to pick up a solo kill, but not till after PowerOfEvil was gifted a couple of early kills in this one.
Nah, he earned those by picking Swain. Swain, has been seeing a number of changes slowly. He's had a couple buffs, and then they also reworked his passive to be a little bit more oriented on just his health pool. They changed his mana and his Q as well to kind of reflect that. In the end, it's kind of made him a little bit better of a champion, I think, for a lot of people, and he was able to get a lot of early kills. He also took the Ignite, and so he got fed, but didn't have a great time transferring it around the map without the TP, which is what I think old Swain used to run a lot more, trying to influence side lane, but he played this pretty well and was able to farm up. And he also had the Shen for protection, so he didn't need to go quite as much of a health pool-oriented build. He skipped over the Roa, went straight for Seraphs. That's also comboing with the changes that came in with the champion and building quite a large health pool from each of those souls that you're able to grab away.
Yeah, and I think this is honestly just a lot of discomfort around Swain. People forget his E range. You saw him set up that first kill. He sets up this pick over the wall. People are just kind of forgetting it. But I think the big thing was Huni able to get a solo kill on his own in this matchup. This is pretty scary considering this looks like a comp that's built for Huni. So him getting his own advantages is kind of like this is something that can't happen if they're going to be kind of gifting them these Hecarim Galio compositions. That's really not the way you want to play out the early game. You want to make sure the Shen is 0-0, and you want all the action to be on the Swain lane.
Right. Mark, you mentioned that PowerOfEvil, even with those 3 early kills that he had picked up, did struggle in some senses to extend that lead to other parts of the map due to the lack of teleport. And so that ultimately resulted in more team fights deciding the game itself, mostly around the dragon, as we've come to know this all-important global objective. This one 24 minutes into the game.
Yeah, this was, I think, where EG lost it. Right now, this is the time Huni had to ult in. Galio's on top. They had 3 stacked in that pixel brush, and that was the moment this comp needs to fight. That's exactly what they want. They want their carries grouped. They want Hecarim on a flank, and they want Galio to be able to connect with it. But right there, they didn't pull the trigger, and you'll see later in this game, they just fail to find that kind of fight again.
And it's really important, too, because that was one of the few times that there weren't going to be tools for the Caitlyn. Normally, you're going to be going on the Caitlyn trying to kill her. The Shen used his ult on Santorin, who had already gotten chunked low, and had to jump into the pit. So that's the perfect time to go for that double flank with Huni and Goldenglue, kill the Kate, and then snowball through the fight. It felt like they tunneled on the Drake and trying to secure it because, hey, they were if they got that Drake, they're at 1 point off Ocean Soul, and instead they had that situation. Now, later in the game, when it's actually getting close, they're trying to go onto the Caitlyn. They're trying to get this kind of flank going and get this actual team fight, but there's too much protection. Caitlyn's actually able to survive the Huni ult, and Galio wasn't able to combo in because it was a lot messier. And now this is more of a front-to-back team fight, and PoE did a great job zoning the follow-up to make sure that no one could get on top with Huni.
It was basically 2 1v4s, right? And so a battle of the solo laners who could carry harder, and ultimately PowerOfEvil was the one who was set up just a little bit better for success in this one.
One has a Zonya, so he's guaranteed 2.5 seconds of invulnerability. So yeah, Swain as a, you fight me is really great. And that's pretty much like the worst case scenario. Like Huni gets too close, he uses his devastating charge to hit the Caitlyn, but doesn't have ult. Galio is in the middle of a fight with Swain, so I like their composition, but yeah, the 24-minute, that was their one shot that I saw that game to take it and win a team fight. After that, I didn't see FlyQuest over grouping like that and like, wasting Shinnle early.
I gotta say,
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna throw one more thing in though. That EG actually played the mid game out a lot better between that. Like 12-minute mark where that Drake was to the 24-minute mark. It was actually EG forcing a lot of the fights. They were trying to kill Turtle mid. Even when it didn't work, they were still forcing the action and the one picking all those fights. And so I definitely think that EG looked a little bit better than I would have thought they would have coming into the series. But strangely, when the one time they needed to get aggressive, they pulled back and focused on the Drake.
Actually, 100% agree. Expected this to be a somewhat lopsided series, and Game 1 indicates to me that it might be closer than a lot of people expected. So let's talk about Game 2, where Evil Geniuses will have another opportunity to take a stab back into this series. They've selected blue side with choice. So any changes you expect to see, they're not going to have counterpick this time around for somebody like Huni.
Yeah, so no salty run back. I'm very happy about that. Yeah, we're probably going to see a blind pick from Huni. I assume they're giving Solo the counter pick because PowerOfEvil has been a lot more comfortable on 4th pick recently. But I think the biggest thing is they got to track Santorin. Invade level 1, just get wards somewhere on the map. Like, he can't keep getting away with these free ganks. It's insane. This guy is not allowed to get first blood every game. Like, stop him from getting first blood. It just ruins the game for you.
Yeah, and I think as well, I want to see what happens in the bot lane with Caitlyn kind of becoming this priority pick. You're seeing a lot of Ashe Caitlyn games going on, and it was first picked in the previous game. And I want to see if they will be able to take that away for Bang, because he actually hasn't played it so far, I believe. And he's been, basically on Aphelios Ezreal duty. Ashe as well is a champion that he's super familiar with, but his Caitlyn was not really at any point in his career what he was really known for. And so I want to see if they actually do go for that Caitlyn first pick or if they give it over again.
Of course, with swapping sides, there's all kinds of differences that can happen this time around. But do you think we would go so far as seeing the blind pick GP? It was banned in the second phase out of FlyQuest this time around. But we always kind of talk about that weird statistic where EG seems to do better when Huni's on the weak side of the map. Even he statistically does better when it seems like he's left on an island.
Yeah, FlyQuest dropped that karma ban, ban GP in 1-2-3. I'm fully expecting Evil Geniuses to take Gangplank in 2-3 in the first phase of picks. I don't think they're going to let it drop. FlyQuest banned the Gangplank and the Rumble in 4-5. I think they're going to do that all series if top lane's not picked.
And I think as well, Solo is... He doesn't have he hasn't played a huge champion pool. He does have things that he can play into the GP, but I don't think you need to be scared about FlyQuest going for some crazy aggressive counterpick top lane into the GP. He'll just play something that scales alongside it and play even, I think. So it is something that FlyQuest should look to ban out earlier.
All right, there you have it. A couple thoughts ahead of Game 2 in this series, but it promises to be a good one. We're stepping away. When we return, we'll see if Evil Geniuses can bounce back. See you soon.
Many of us are working from home and adjusting to new coworkers. Coworkers who borrow supplies and always interrupt meetings. A gift can help. And when you use your MasterCard, you have security benefits that keep you protected, so your purchase ends up in the right hands or mouth. And your staff can start something priceless.